Unit 2nd. Accounts of non-profit concern or accounts of non-profit organization. This is the most important topic from exam point of view. There is no option for this topic. There is a compulsory question in exam. First we try to understand the basic concept of this topic. First we have to see what is a non-profit concern or what is a non-profit organization. The non-profit concerns are those concerns whose object is not to make a profit. The main object of such concern is to give useful services to its members or to general public. For example, schools, colleges, hospitals, charitable trusts such as Shri Shirdi Sai Sansthan, Balaji Temple, Simant Dagdushet Ganpati Trust, etc. These are non-profit concern. To prepare final accounts of a non-profit concern, first we have to understand the sources of inflows and outflows of cash. The sources of cash inflow is of mainly two types, namely capital receipts and revenue receipts. The capital receipts are those receipts which are issued in once. These receipts are of a non-recurring nature. For example, received donations for a specific purpose. It means a donation for building, donation for purchase of assets, etc. These are capital receipts. The capital receipts appear on liability side of the balance sheet. Whereas the revenue receipts are those receipts which are received again and again. Revenue receipt is also called as a regular flow of income. For example, general donation, subscription received, interest on investment, rent received, etc. These are the revenue receipts. Outflow of cash is also of two types, namely capital expenses and revenue expenses. The capital expenses are those expenses which are incurred in once. These are the of non-recurring nature. For example, purchase of fixed assets such as purchase of building, purchase of furniture, purchase of investment, etc. These are the capital expenses. The capital expenses appear on asset side of the balance sheet, whereas revenue expenses are those expenses which are issued again and again. In simple, the expenses which are incurred for day-to-day functions of the concerns are called as the revenue expenses. For example, payment of salary to staff, payment of rent, printing and stationery, postage, etc. These are the revenue expenses. Non-profit concern maintain cash book only, and on that basis they prepare receipt and payment account at the end of the accounting year. The receipt and payment account is a summary of cash book. The non-profit concerns are not prepare trial balance as like a trading concern. These concerns prepare their final accounts as a income and expense account and balance sheet, whereas trading concern prepare profit and loss account and balance sheet. Income and expense account is prepared on the same principles of profit and loss account. It includes all revenue, incomes and expenses. After closing income and expense account, the debit balance of this account indicates a deficit and credit balance of indicates a surplus, which is to be adjusted in capital fund in the balance sheet. In a simple, surplus is added in capital fund and deficit is deducted from capital. Balance sheet is prepared on the same principles of trading concern. Now we go to overlook the important notes which are useful for exam point of view as a answer in one sentence, fill in the blanks, true, false, give the words or phrase. What is a non-profit concern? We have already discussed it. Again we see that an organization which object is not to make a profit, they are called as a non-profit concern. Their main object is to give useful services to its members or to general public, such as schools, colleges, hospitals, charitable trusts, etc. These are non-profit concern. Now capital fund. It is a fund owned by the non-profit organization which is surplus, in which surplus is added and deficit is deducted. Also amount of capitalization are added in a capital fund. Now what is the capital receipts? The capital receipts are which receipts are received in once. They are of non-recurring nature. For example, sale of fixed assets, sale of investment, received donation for specific purposes. For example, donation for building fund. All of these are the capital receipts. Now, what is a capital expenditure? These are the expenses which are incurred in once, which are of non-recurring nature. For example, purchase of building, purchase of investment, purchase of fixed assets, etc. Now, what are the final accounts of non-profit concern? The final accounts of non-profit concern are income and expense account and a balance sheet. Now, what is the revenue expenses? These are the expenses which are incurred again and again. They are of a recurring nature. In simple, expenses which are incurred for day-to-day activities of the organization, they are called as a revenue expenses. For example, payment of salary to staff, rent, printing, stationery, postage, traveling, etc. These are the revenue expenses. Now, revenue receipts. Revenue receipts is the receipts which are issued again and again. They are of a recurring nature. It is a regular flow of income. For example, subscription issued, general donation, rent received, interest on investment. These are the revenue receipts. Now, what is the receipt and payment account? It is the summary of cash book. It starts with the opening cash and bank balance and closes with the closing cash and bank balance. It includes all types of receipts and payments. It means the receipt side includes capital receipt as well as revenue receipts. Also, payment side includes capital expenses as well as revenue expenses. Also, receipts and payment side include the total receipts and total payments during the current year. It means it may be of the last year, current year, and also for the next year. Now, what is the income and expenditure account? The non-profit concern prepare income and expense account instead of profit and loss account as in case of the trading concern. This account is prepared with the same principles of profit account. This account includes all revenue incomes and expenses. The credit balance of this account is termed as surplus and debit balance is treated as a deficit. Now, what is the legacy? It is the gift or donation received by a non-profit concern from a person as per his will. What is a subscription? It is the periodical payments made by member to non-profit concern for maintaining his membership is called as a subscription. Now, what is a endowment fund? A fund which is invested in some securities to earn a regular income in the form of interest which is to be used for a specific purpose. It is called as a endowment fund. Now, what is a deferred revenue expenses? The expenses which are incurred for receiving the benefit for more than 1 year is called as a deferred revenue expenses. For example, advertisement bill paid for next 2 years, it is a deferred revenue expenses. Now, what is the entrance fees? The fees paid by a person at the time of becoming a member of a non-profit concern, such fees called as a entrance fees. It is also called as a admission fees. Now, what is a specific donation? Donation received by a specific purpose or special purpose, it is called as a specific donation. For example, donation for building, donation for prizes, these are a specific donation. What is the life membership fees? The fees paid by a person to a non-profit concern or organization to become a member of the concern for his whole life, such fees called as a life membership fees. Now, what is a surplus? The excess of income over expenditure is called as a surplus. In other words, the credit balance of income and expense account is called as a surplus. It is to be added in capital fund. Now, what is a deficit? It is the excess of expenditure over the income is called as a deficit. It is also called as debit balance of a income and expense account. It is to be deducted from capital fund. Now, balance sheet. What is the balance sheet? It is a statement which shows the financial position of the concern on a particular date. It shows all assets and liabilities of the concern of a particular date. Now, we go to formats of the specimen of the receipt payment account, income and expense account, and balance sheet. Now, receipt payment account The specimen of receipt account is divided into two parts, namely receipt side, payment side. On receipt side, total receipts are included on receipt side and total payments are included in a payment side. Total sides, receipt and payment account starts with the opening cash and bank balance and close with the closing cash and bank balance. On receipt side, the receipts are includes capital receipts as well as revenue receipts. The capital receipts are such as donation for building, donation for prizes, donation for tournament, donation for specific purposes, sale of fixed assets and sale of investment. These are the capital receipts. Now revenue receipts. These are the regular flow of income, subscription, entrance fees, admission fees, life membership fees, interest on investment, interest on deposit, rent received, legacies, general donation, grants from government, hire of hall, means rent of hall, tennis court fees, billiard fees, drama receipts, and tuition fees receipts, term fees receipts, visit fees receipts, sale of medicine, sale of drugs, sale of old newspapers and scraps, picnic receipts, sale of handicrafts, hospital receipts, operation fees, receipt from dispensary, collection from patients, receipt from matches, sundry receipts, miscellaneous receipts, and other receipts. These are the revenue receipts. Now, on payment side. Payment side includes the capital expenditures as well as revenue expenses. The capital receipts such as purchase of fixed assets, purchase of building, purchase of furniture, purchase of sport material, purchase of office equipment, purchase of billiard table, purchase of motor vehicle, purchase of books, fixed deposit, investment in government securities, etc. These are the capital expenses. Payment side includes revenue expenses, just like salary and wages, rent rates, taxes, printing stationery, postage, telephone, electric charges, lighting, newspapers, periodicals, gardening expenses, billiard expenses, bar expenses, purchase of medicine, purchase of drugs. Also, honorarium to doctors, honorarium to doctors, honorarium to secretary, expense of drama, repairs and maintenance, insurance premium, tennis expenses, lectures fees, entertainment expenses, refreshment expenses, annual function expenses, bar expenses, charity gifts and presents, traveling expenses, conveyance, general meeting expenses, compounder salary, upkeep of garden, ground rent, bank charges, tournament expenses, sundry expenses, office expenses, general expenses, miscellaneous expenses, operation expenses, picnic expenses. These are the revenue expenses. And lastly, this account close with the closing cash and bank balance. And this is total of receipt is equal to total of payment side. Okay. Now we go to see the income and expenditure account. It is prepared on same principles of profit and loss account. It is divided into two parts, expenditure and incomes. Expenditure side includes all revenue expenses and income side includes all revenue incomes, just like salary, wages, rent rates, printing, postage, telephone, electric charges, lighting charges, newspapers, periodicals and journals, gardening expenses, billiard expenses, bar expenses, medical and drugs, medicine and drugs, honorarium to doctors, honorarium to secretary, drama expenses, repairs and maintenance, insurance premium, tennis expenses, lectures fees, entertainment expenses, refreshment expenses, annual function expenses, charity gifts and presents, traveling expenses, conveyances, means the traveling expenses, operation expenses, compounder salary, also picnic expenses, general meeting expenses, upkeep of garden, ground rent, bank charges, tournament expenses, of sundry expenses, office expenses, general expenses, miscellaneous expenses, depreciation on fixed assets is also revenue expenses, loss on sale of assets, loss on sale of investment. These are the expenditures. Now income side. Income side includes the incomes of current year only. First is the main source of the income is a subscription. There are some adjustments. Subscription received during the year will appear in your column. current year outstanding subtraction will be added. Last year outstanding subtraction will be subtracted, deducted. Current year advance is to be deducted, subtracted, and last year advance is to be added in this one. And final figure, it comes income of the current year. Now next is the entrance fees, admission fees, life membership fees, interest on investment, interest on deposit, rent received, legacies, donation received by from a person as per his will. General donation, grants from government, hire means rent of hall, tennis court fees, billiard tables, drama receipts, tuition fees, term fees, visit fees, sale of medicine, sale of drugs, sale of old newspapers, again sale of scrap, picnic receipts, tournament receipts, sale of handicrafts, hospital receipts, operation fees, receipt from dispensary, collection from patients, receipt from matches, and sundry receipts, miscellaneous receipts, other receipts, and sundry income. These are the revenue incomes. And after closing this one, if the balance appears on this one side, debit side, it's called as a surplus. And if the balance appears on this side, it's called as a deficit. Deficit means a loss, and surplus means a net profit. We name as a surplus or a deficit. Now next is the balance sheet. Balance sheet is as a regular format. Liability side, asset side. Asset side includes land, premises, playground, furniture, equipments, sports equipment, sports material, motor vehicle, library books, billiard table, tennis table, electrical fittings, fixed deposit, investment, 10% government bonds, stock of stationery, stock of prizes, stock of stamps, prepaid insurance, prepaid expenses, stock of drugs and medicine, outstanding subscription, accrued interest on investment or outstanding interest on investment, interest receivable, debtors, cash in hand and cash at bank. Liability side includes the capital fund. Opening capital fund is inner column, add surplus, less deficit. Also we have to add capitalization of any amounts, just like capitalized donation, capitalized entrance fees, capitalized legacies, capitalized entrance fees. Now final figure will appear on outer column. Capital fund, building fund, endowment fund, prize fund, tournament fund, charity fund, investment fluctuation fund. Current year advance subscription is an advance income on liability side. Syndicates, bank loan, bank overdraft, outstanding expenses, just like outstanding salary, outstanding. These are the regular format of the balance sheet. Now we go to important adjustments which require double effects of. First adjustment, current year outstanding subscription. It is a income receivable. For example, if there are 100 members of the concern and out of these 80 members are paid their subscription, it means 20 members are remain to pay their subscription. It is the current year income. It is to be added in a subscription, and second effect will appear on current year asset side. Second adjustment, last year outstanding subscription. Some of the members are not paid their subscription in the last year. Generally they paid the last year subscription in the current year. It is the income of the last year. Therefore, it is to be deducted from subscription, and second effect will be appear on last year asset side. Third adjustment, last year advance subscription. Some of the members are paid in advance in the last year. It is the income of the current year. Therefore, it is added in a subscription, and second effect will appear on last year liability side. Now fourth adjustment, current year advance subscription. Some of the members are paid in advance subscription. It means it is the income of the next year. It is to be deducted from subscription, and second effect will appear on current year liability side. Now fifth adjustment, outstanding salary expenses is to be added in salary and added in expenses, and second effect will appear on current year liability side. Now sixth adjustment, current year prepaid insurance. It is to be deducted from insurance, and second effect will appear on current year asset side. Now seventh adjustment, last year prepaid insurance. It is a expense of the current year. It is to be added in insurance, and second effect will appear on last year asset side. Now 8 number adjustment, closing stock of stationery. It is to be deducted from stationery account, and second effect will appear on current year asset side. Ninth number adjustment. Opening stock of stationery. It is to be added in stationery and second effect will appear on last year asset side. Now 10th number adjustment. Closing stock of medicine and drugs. It is to be deducted from medicine or drugs and second effect will appear on current year asset side. 11th number adjustment. Depreciation on fixed assets. It is to be deducted from depreciation fixed assets and second effect will appear on expenditure side. 12th number adjustment. Accrued interest on investment or interest receivable on investment. It will appear on income side and second effect will appear on current year asset side. 13th number adjustment. Electric charges includes deposit paid to electric company. It is to be deducted from electric charges and second effect will appear on current year asset side. Now next adjustment. Last year opening balances of assets are given. It will appear on last year asset side and also second effect current year asset side. 15th number adjustment. Capitalized donation. It is to be deducted from donations and it will be added in a capital fund. Same like this one. 16th number. Capitalized entrance fees or admission fee. It is to be deducted from entrance fees or deducted from admission fees and second effect will be added in capital fund. 17th number adjustment. Capitalized legacies. It is also to be deducted from legacies and will be added in a capital fund. Same like this one. 18th number. Capitalized life membership fees. It is also to be deducted from life membership fees and will be added in a capital fund. Now 19th number. Rent receivable. It is to be incomes receivable. It will appear on income side and second effect will appear on current year asset side. Now 20th number. Rent payable. It is a outstanding rent. It will appear on expenditure side and second effect will appear on current year liability side. Rent paid in advance. Rent paid in advance. It will be just like a prepaid rent. It is to be deducted from rent account on expenditure side and second effect will appear on current year asset side. Now last number adjustment. Rent received in advance. It is to be deducted from rent account on income side and second effect on current year liability side. Some of the important notes are to be noted. Capital fund. Opening balance is given in question. Opening item in receipt and payment account are not affected in answer sheet. But opening items given in the adjustment, single effect is to be required. These is to be important notes are to be memorized. This is the adjustment. Okay. Thank you.